Now you can't see, but I am crossing my legs more femininely than I ever have in my entire life. The Gorillaz. Cartoon band from the long time ago. New album, HUMANZ, drops a couple days ago to massive hype. When you're an old, almost obsolete band that hasn't, like, you know, died, I guess, I mean, there was a falling out between the dudes, but, you know, it's a virtual band. It hasn't died. New album gets released. The marketing is kind of hands off. You kind of just take it and you just, you just... And the internet's gonna come along. Pew! However, I do not believe this is the Gorillaz album that we had hoped. The concept at its birth was dope. It was an art and narrative-driven concept project fronted by 4 virtual musicians. However, with the release of the new album, it's become apparent that that original idea, concept, and music is... If you're going to release an album through a virtual band with an iconic, established image, then release an album for a virtual band. Yes, backstories were released for the 4 members, and a new art style. They're all 3D and relatively eerie. But separate from this slight concept building and new art, you also have this album. This just felt like an hour of tracks produced by Damon Albarn that just had people singing on them. And I guess it was about the end of the world, maybe. Throw some Trump in there. It honestly seems like Damon Albarn put together a Gorillaz album like he said he would, and got to the end and said, "Oh, isn't it? Wasn't there something we did? Wasn't there something else to this? Like, didn't we do something more?" If you're gonna put out a Gorillaz album, I would like to hear the Gorillaz. I get it, it's 2017, changes have to happen, especially for a project that is edging on 20 years old now. However, grabbing every artist under the sun and getting them to sing songs, and which brings me to my primary point. Damon Albarn knows what he's doing. He knows how to put together an album. However, the Gorillaz theme and concept has died. Now, it's not 2005 anymore, so whether it's the time or just people losing interest in such a concept, or it just not working in modern culture, or it's just the lack of effort and, I guess the overall thought put into the virtual side of the band. I would have been happier to see these characters die in an extravagant, memorable way, rather than just turn into outdated, old, limping memorabilia of a concept that, shook modern music in its time. This may be seen as a stretch, but this reminds me of Daft Punk. A couple of guys putting together quality music and complementing that with, a memorable visual thing. They released a full-length film around the time of Demon Days, which is, the same thing, combining visual and music, sort of, internet. Everybody loves the internet. 2006, oh my god. However, the times have changed. People aren't into this massive sort of conceptual thing anymore. Movies are getting shorter, songs are getting shorter. So, they've stepped away from that. However, they're still music producers, and good ones. Point is, the music they're doing with The Weeknd. They're good producers with a recognizable sound, and they're putting that to good use. And no one's upset. Random Access had a plethora of features, so much so that, you ask any rando on the street, they would tell you that Get Lucky is a Pharrell Williams song. Now, a year down the road, I might understand people thinking certain songs on this Gorillaz album are not Gorillaz songs, and I predict, but kind of hope, Damon Albarn sees that, and just puts his songwriting and production abilities into something that he doesn't have to bog himself down to carry an art style that people would be upset if disappeared. They'd be more upset if it was dragged through the mud after being such an iconic symbol of music and tech back in the day. That's it. That's all I got.